Those who misled us, that even our political liberation will lead to our economic liberation, are now being forced to fall apart. They're all leaving. Yeah? Fagia water is now in place. All right? It is truly coming. Right? We are tired of this nonsense. Okay? Talk real issues that are about our stomach and our future and our generations to come. Right? Fagia water is in place. And the joy that is coming is phenomenal. Phenomenal. So, Eric.
So we should focus on the journey.
Yes.
Not on Moses.
Not on Moses.
Not on the tablets.
No.
Not on creating our own gods.
The Joshuas are being born every day. Right. I've given you a list of those who have laid their lives for this path. We are not in Sinai. No. We are on our journey now.
But
on our journey
to
Canaan. Today, the president is ashamed to meet people, to face people, cannot face people. You imagine that you have the whole Christian fraternity and the Muslims call a president a liar. His mouth has been taken away. William Samoei Ruto had 4 pillars to his regime. One was the church. The second were the people and parliamentarians. The third, I can assure you, was he had a narrative that he could market to people. He had a narrative. And the fourth was he had a lady called Meg Whitman, who decided she's going to fly his flag no matter how high. Those 4 pillars have gone. Parliament was cancelled. The people that were so-called with him, right? I can assure you that more than half of the vote that he got is out. His mouth has been taken away. His tongue taken away. His narrative taken away. He's called a liar. A head of state being called a liar by those who are the vanguards of our ethics called the church. He has nothing more to offer. Nothing more. Kenyans have given up on the man. He is no light. There is no future in this man and his regime. And in fact, every day that we sit back, let us accept there is no hope as long as he's sitting there. None at all. And in fact, the Kenyans have been quiet for 2 months. The Kenyans have been listening to only want one thing. How do we get him out before the term? This is not even about 2027 or Sijui 2027. People are asking, how do we get him out before the term?
Yes, they say economy is stupid, and this is the status quo of this country in terms of the economy. The economy is doing badly, extremely badly. The companies are pronouncing people redundant, and it's so unfortunate that people are losing jobs day by day, and the economy is continuing to deteriorate, and hopefully people now learn that it's important to choose and elect wise leaders that have our interest at heart, and I believe that will be the way to go. And who else to speak about this, and with consistency actually, rather than a man like Jimmy Wanjigi. He has been doing this since 3 years ago, and actually it's 4 years ago right now, because he started the forensic debt audit of this country way back, because right now we are in deep debt, and a lot of this debt is illegal debt, and that is what is causing all this financial distress that Kenyan people are going through. And the current government and the previous government don't want to open the debt book, because they know they messed it up. They were taking debt without expenditure and revenue bills, and that makes these loans or these debts they were taking to be illegal, because you can't take a loan which you haven't budgeted for, and you haven't indicated what you're going to do it for. And in our law and in our constitution, it says you can only take debt for development, not for recurrent expenditure, and not for anything else, but only for development. This government is taking debt to go and fund recurrent expenditures, and that's how you know if it's a business. That's how you know a business is collapsing. If it's a country, that's how you know a country is collapsing in terms of economy, and it can't sustain itself for long. And you know, a man like Jimmy Wanjigi and other economists have been saying that you know, if we continue with the same trajectory, we might end up being at a position where Ghana found itself, Venezuela found itself, Sri Lanka found itself, Bangladesh found itself, Mozambique found itself, Zimbabwe found itself, you know, just to mention a few on top of my mind, where these countries ended up in financial collapse in terms of the economy. So it took countries like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Venezuela to raid their state house to make sure they've kicked out the president or their leader, to make sure that they have taken back their power, they donated power, because we're the ones with the power. The sovereign people are the ones with the power. They usually donate this power to the leaders we elect via ballot. And it's unfortunate that in Kenya we chose our current leaders by the ballot, but they have decided to rule us by the gun instead of ruling us by the constitution, which it prescribed us to vote for them, to donate our leadership to them. And right now they are using the gun instead of using the constitution, which gave them the chance to go and become the leaders. So it's unfortunate that they're using the gun, but behold that even the Kenyan people right now don't fear even the gun. You know, yesterday we had just a few days we've been having, actually right now they've been saying it's 16 days of women activism, and you know, women came out, and it's unfortunate they were being harassed on the streets, and it's unfortunate because the government can't afford security personnel. It's been 2 years, the police haven't recruited, Kenya police haven't recruited new police officers in the past 2 years because they don't have the budget. You understand? So that tells you that the government is doing so badly in terms of security because it has few security personnel. Remember, they sent others in the Haiti mission, which is illegal. The Kenyan courts, you know, declared that project illegal, and they went even ahead to fund that illegal project with our money. It is said that they have used over 2 billion so far, and it's an unending fight. It's something that is not ending anytime soon. And right now they have even not paid them 3 months in terms of their salaries. So it's unfortunate, but you know, all this hover around the illegal debt issue. When you're paying for money which never came to the people, to work for the people in terms of development, so that it can help the infrastructure to improve the production of this country, to, you know, to help production in terms of materials and goods, so that you can get you know, a bigger tax base where you can tax at a low percentage, but you have a broad tax base. So this government has decided to narrow the tax base and to improve or to go higher in terms of the tax percentage, which is the wrong way to go in terms of economy. And you can see right now people are suffering because the middle class, which is usually the 30%, because in Kenya we have 60%, which is the majority unemployed Kenyans are 60% poor and then unemployed. And then we have 30%, which is the middle class, which are now being taxed left, right, and center to the core, and they can't take it anymore. They're suffering too much right now. They're being taxed at they're being taxed at 69% of their salary. 69% of the salary is going away. And it's so unfortunate because of the wrong policies that this government is pushing onto the people in terms of the housing projects, the shifsha policies, and other stuffs, and even the VAT. They have raised the VAT on products in terms of the universal products, which affects every goods and services in terms of fuel and gas. It's so unfortunate. So that makes the people not to have they don't have the power to spend more. They have limited resources to spend, and that means there's no market, there's no business, because people are not spending money. Most of the money is going to the government to pay the illegal debts that we've taken at nearly 88% of our collected revenue. So we're remaining with nearly 12%, and in that 12% we haven't paid the pensioners, which is the third distribution after receiving the funds, after KRA receiving the funds. The first disbursement they usually do is loan, then second is actually counties, then third is pensions. So in Kenya right now, after disbursing the loans, after paying the legal loans, we go and pay our counties. But in Kenya, the previous months we haven't been disbursing funds to the counties, and it has been so unfortunate, where the governors have been crying that the government is not giving them the funds that they are supposed to be given. And in terms of the pensioners now, they have left to dry. They are not even being paid their pension, and it's so unfortunate because the money is not enough. And right now, the IMF and even the World Bank have now decided not to loan Kenya anymore. And our government was trying to go to the UAE to ask for funds for loans, but the World Bank called the UAE and told them that they should not risk with the Kenyan government, because they don't use the money as it's supposed to be used, because they are borrowing for expenditure, for recurrent expenditure, not for development. So unfortunate that we are in this mess. But a man like Jimmy Wanjigi came out and told us that for us to avoid the growth of these beasts, which is this current government, we should stop we should avoid paying the tax that we can avoid in terms of using M-Pesa or the cashless system. If you avoid the cashless system, you'll be denying them tax. So you should be trying to pay cash in terms of when you're doing business or buying anything. You should pay tax. You should pay it cash to avoid taxation, because when you pay it via M-Pesa or through a bank, they get tax from that service. So for you to deny them that money, you should go cash, and that's how you now start to starve these beasts that we are having. Because right now, they are stressing people financially and even socially. So guys, let me know what you think. It's good a man like Jimmy Wanjigi has come to join a man like Okiya Mtata in pushing this agenda of illegal debts, so that more Kenyans can understand it, and to liberate Kenyans mentally on economy situation of this country and how we can liberate ourselves from it. So enjoy these videos as we continue to educate ourselves civically to make the right decision come 2027, just in case we don't have a revolution early enough. So guys, don't lose hope. There's hope, and there's light at the end of the tunnel. Just stay hopeful, and we will win at the end of the tunnel, at the end of the journey. Boom.
Today, with the amount of transparency, everyone will be exposed. And literally, the recommended charges, we will end up seeing people
In jail.
in jail. So, for example, in the last 10 years, the years that we had done the audit under the Uhuru regime, all right, the budget only approved 2 trillion for loans, but they borrowed 6.4 trillion, which means over 4 trillion above what was approved. This current government, in the last 1 year, the borrowings that are on the budget are 351 billion shillings. Foreign and external loans. William Samoei Ruto has gone to borrow 1.8. All right? Which is roughly 1.5 trillion above what is in the budget. Who gave him that permission? Who gave the treasury that permission? And anything you do not do that is lawful means that you are doing criminality. You're doing criminality. And I said very clearly here, we did a primary balance from year July 2013 all the way to June 2023, 10 years. What was the development expenditure? 6 trillion. 6 trillion, they were only going to borrow 2 trillion for that development, by the way, in those years. So 6 trillion. Higher. You take a county, how much was it? Salaries of all government.
Yep.
Pensions. What you call operations and management costs. It came to 14.6 trillion. That is an exact number. Without payment of debt.
Okay.
So you remove the payment of debt. It's called primary balance.
Okay.
Then you say, what were the actual tax revenues from KRA at the close of every financial year? So from July 2013 all the way to June 2023, 10 years.
Yeah.
They came to 13.3 trillion.
That is tax revenue.
Tax revenue.
Yes. So what is the difference there? 1.3 trillion.
Bro.
That was our deficit.
Yeah,
For 10 years. What we are saying, William Ruto has borrowed in this last 1 year outside of the budget.
Is the deficit?
Is the deficit for 10 years. Now, what did we borrow in those 10 years? 7.7 trillion. So we borrowed 6.4 trillion above what we needed, which is a deficit for the next 10 years. 6.4 trillion we did not need, is not lawful, because it's not lawful and never came to us. They cannot show us what that money did.
Okay.
On any budget, they cannot show us.
Jimmy.
And that is what you now call odious debt. Now, we are paying heavily for this. That never came to our benefit. But we are talking about 6+ trillion. But I say that is what was taken outside of the law. Nobody is looking at how much we have paid.
Over time.
Now, during the period of the first audit, which ended in July 2022, we had paid loan repayments of 5.6 trillion. In the year 2022 to 2023, we paid another 1.4. How much is that? 7.
Yep.
Yes.
This year, we have paid 1.8. How much is that?
8.8.
Right. And the government is still telling you, you owe 11 trillion.
Oh, no.
So we have paid 8.8. 6 we never took for our benefit.
But this is in
And
interest
then-
and principal.
Interest and principal. Correct. 8.8.
Uh-huh.
6 we never took. 6.4, in fact, exactly, we never took. Was never to our benefit. It's not on our laws. Okay? And we are being told we still owe 11. Do you know, this is what you call a massive Ponzi scheme. And this Ponzi scheme is our chain. It is our chain. It is our slavery chain, our modern day slavery chain. And until we yank it off, you're going to see no change in this country but pain. And you yank it off this way.
Okay, there we go.
You yank it off this way. What is not in our laws is what is called odious debt. And that we have paid to odious debt, we demand back. And if we analyze that, that means we have no debt. And without debt, that means you can free up the taxpayer from paying debt. It is now a public clamor for open justice. This last year, we have paid 1.866 to debt. Imagine what can happen
can you
in
not
terms of
do?
development in Kenya.
Absolutely.
What miracle can we not have here? To do a level 6 hospital is about 10 billion. You put one in every county. You imagine the amount of roads. To do 10,000 kilometers of road would mean what?
You'll pay all your
Nobody here will not need this free housing, this housing fund nonsense. Right? People here will never even live in mud huts. Right? And the stimulus it will create, the catalyst it will create to this economy. You will see this jobless, unemployed.
Okay.
You'll be amazed with the figure. So today, with the amount of transparency, everyone will be exposed. And literally, the recommended charges will end up seeing people
in jail.
In jail.
You like me, why them a fight me? You like me, chewing a bone with a bite. You like me, chewing a bite. Don't like, how I we don't trust them, even if we bust them. We don't trust them, stay far, not touch them. We don't trust them, we'll be a man that sub them. Informer, me say you must them.